Yeah, I mean, as always, home games in the Big 12 are a necessity in order to protect home court, and this is no different. We're obviously playing a really talented Baylor team. Man, they just have great guard play. They got great inside play. They really rebound the ball well. It's just a really well-coached team, and coming off a great win, too. I mean, their comeback in the second half was impressive, being against Kansas, and we know how talented their team is. So looking forward to Tuesday night, tomorrow night, and 8 o'clock game, so it should be a pretty wild student section. Looking forward to that, too.
Coach, what is the positive thing of being able to have Big Sky Coach of the Year as your assistant coach be able to take over in those last moments?
Yeah, no, Coach Linder, not only, he's one of my best friends. I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with coaching. I mean, he's just a guy I trust, that I love, who, I mean, we started at Midland College together as young coaches back in 2004, and we were sitting in a residence hall lobby in Sterling, Colorado, talking about, how to get better as a coach, and 20 plus years ago when we both started this. So he's just someone that I explicitly trust. We talk all the time, and I'm so thankful he's here, and he did a tremendous job to finish that game, and our whole staff did. I mean, what they did to keep our team together and how we approach it every day. If you come to our practices, you know that this is a team. This isn't one person, and I think that was on full display at the end of that game against Houston.
How did that lit a fire for you guys at that point early in the game? But you're running back to the huddle. One last thing before I head to the locker. I guess what was the mission there?
Well, we showed on film, and we talked about explicitly how well Houston competes over the entire game. I mean, it's their cumulative approach, and that we were going to go through some adversity. I mean, I don't think anyone anticipated it would happen that quickly. So really, the communication to the team was just to look at everybody's eyes and to make sure that they knew we were going to win this game still. Like, this was a part of what we were supposed to do. This is what we were supposed to go through, and I didn't need to stay in that huddle very long. I mean, they were already ready to go. I mean, Chance pulled them together, and you could tell it might as well not even gone back to them, because they were together. Our group was together.
And you mentioned just having a home crowd, just the support of the fans, and being able to come home to that on Saturday with the fans there. What does that mean to you? You can go off on the road and come back to that.
I mean, I think it's what separates our program. I mean, there's a lot of things that make our program unique, but the love and the passion of Red Raiders, and how we travel, and how we just rally around our team is unlike any place. Especially in the state of Texas, it's unlike any place. I mean, there's some places nationally that have similar, interest, but in Texas, there's no place like this.
Your reaction to the ejection kind of reminded me of that of a reaction of a parent, right? Like tooth and nail, would go to the ends of the earth for your kid, and you are a father, one of four kids. I'm one of four, so I feel that. But my question is, how would you say being a parent has helped you become a better coach?
Yeah, I think what's key in this is how you handle adversity is really important as a parent with your kids, and how you allow them to go through hard times. I think it's really important. I don't think saving them is important. I just think in the end, though, if they're being a great teammate, they're doing what they're supposed to do, and their intent was to try to win the game and not to harm anybody. We're gonna stand behind the heart and the grit that our players show, and I just want them to feel supported in those moments. And it doesn't have anything to do with basketball. It's just like anything. Like, just, if we feel like our approach is right, and if it's not, then we should have the consequences of what the situation is. And I just think probably being a parent helps you see that you can't save kids by protecting them. Like, honestly, hard things are happening. But when you feel like the intent is right, which it was in that situation for us, and we're gonna defend our team.
Yeah, and how would you say maybe your family's support has helped you become a better head coach? Just being that, being able to go home and just get it all off your chest with the craziness that this job brings.
Well, there's a lot of results that everyone else wants to focus on, and what I choose and what we're going to choose is that's what I love about being a part of a family is that you love people unconditionally. And I mean this, like, okay, so if you go out and you don't make as many shots as the other team does, and I know everybody's kind of half rolling their eyes, but this is more important than any basketball question that'll get asked. In life, if people love you regardless of how you perform, then you're going to perform better. That's the truth. And if there's accountability regardless of how you perform, so sometimes when you win a game, you actually don't do it well. And so how can you hold people accountable to the standard that is their absolute best, and how do they stay the best teammate even when you win? That to me is what being a parent, that's what being a coach is, and that's why I think it all fits together. And so for us, we won that basketball game, but I felt like we won that game because of our approach and our heart and our intent and how we competed. It wasn't, the ball went in for us, which helps, but that to me is not the focus, and that's what parenting, and that's why I love my family, and that's why I love being a part of a family. And it is a weird deal because this isn't a family, but it replicates a lot of things. So I don't want this to be confused because this becomes a family, but it isn't a family, and I hope this helps guys understand what life is really about. But my family, my wife and our kids and my parents, they're all at the game. My brother, they were all at the game. So there is an unconditional love that I think you can step into this with full confidence because you have people that love you regardless of the result. And that's what I hope our guys feel. And that's what I hope JT felt in that moment. That it's not the result of what other people determine your value. It's what we know in our heart, how we compete, how we love each other. So that's really an important aspect to being a part of this team.
How does the fight for that this team shown during the end of the game and overtime, how has that evolved from those early losses to now being on a roll? Is this where you wanted your team to be right now?
I think we're moving in the right direction, but we're nowhere near the end of this. If you look at league play, and everybody wants to talk about where we were 10 games ago, people had half written us off, and now that we're 10 games in, I think Kansas State's a great example. They got one of the best rosters in the country, not only in the Big 12, and they've got some quality wins now, and there's still 10 games left. That team could go 10-0 the rest of the way. So it's a unique thing with this world that we live in, that everybody wants to talk about where you are now. But I think our focus is where we want to be, and I do not think we've reached our potential in any way, shape, or form. And there's a long journey ahead of us, but we're definitely moving in the right direction in the way we compete together.
How do you avoid a letdown spot? After a big win, it's kind of typical for teams to run a little slow. I think we'll avoid that.
Yeah, we had a workmanlike approach yesterday, and we went together and actually we just went outside and went on a walk, and I think we talked about the things that matter to us as a team, and we let the team do a film session with just them to communicate where we need to be better defensively and rebounding, and I think the ownership of the team is really the most important part of this in regards to a letdown, and then just don't let people tell you how great you are be any part of what you think still needs to be improved. Like, what is the heart to improve still, and that's our only focus, and that's the only thing that matters right now. I think our team does understand that. So letdowns, it's just like, I don't even concern myself with that. My concern is like, are we moving in the right direction as a team?
Being the only team that scored in double digits in isolation plays against Houston because they've allowed pretty much the fewest in that category. How's that kind of prepared you in this kind of gauntlet sort of stretch offensively?
I think more than anything, our ability to score a few baskets against Houston the other day spoke to the team's understanding of what we needed to do and who gave us the best chance to win the game. And to put a game plan in that we all believed in. Not one person was going to save this game. No one. Not myself, not JT, not nobody. And so I thought the key to it was like, how do we keep figuring out this as a team? And that was a big part of the game plan. And our guys believing in it and going and executing it.
In terms of scouting for Baylor, you can relate. They're dealing with injury issues. They just lost DJ during the last game. not totally sure who's going to be there. So is it kind of just focus more on scheme and system than individuals?
Yeah, definitely. I think the key to playing against a team like Baylor that may have some injuries like we had is like you got to prepare for everybody. One, like you better assume that everybody's playing in the game. BJ, I mean, whatever, anybody, you got to assume they're going to play. And then two, to your point, you just focus on the things that you do well and you know what you need to do in order to win. And I think the effort-based component of rebounding always against Baylor is going to be huge. And then I do think regardless of who they have in the ball screen coverages and the way you defend their actions and the way you rebound is going to be on repeat. You just got to make sure you're doing it with the personnel in mind and prepare for all personnel. And they've got one of the best teams in the country with arguably the best coach in the country.
And you've been on both sides of this rivalry, but with expansion, you guys aren't playing twice in a season for the first time since like the 60s. How do you feel about those kind of things going by the wayside with the new evolution we're in?
Yeah, I mean, man, I try not to think too much about who we're playing other than how do we beat them. I mean, I think probably for somebody else to talk about. I'm not smart enough to figure it all out. I mean, I got enough brain just to figure out how we can get our team together. You know, I do think these rivalries are important in college basketball, and I think playing is important, but knowing that it's Coach Drew, who I consider a really great friend, you know, it is difficult to say, hey, I wish we played twice. I mean, honestly, I want to play the toughest schedule, and we got to continue to push ourselves to play against the best teams, and that's how you improve the most. And they're one of the best teams in the country, so I can see why everyone would want to see us play.
So what do you feel like you have to do versus Baylor to pull out a W?
I mean, ultimately, it starts with your ability to guard and transition defense and keep them out of the paint and, make them uncomfortable as you can, even though they've got a lot of talent at the guard spots, and then finish it with rebounding so you can run in transition. I mean, I don't think it gets any farther than that. And they do turn people over this year more than they have in the past. So because of the switching, how do you take care of the basketball?
Coach, can you touch on what EY was able to do for you guys in Houston? I know that just as you mentioned his physicality when he was here 3 weeks ago, that he saw in practice and he really put himself in a position on defense out there. I guess, is there possibly a role for him moving forward after what you saw in a game situation like that?
Yeah, I will tell you, it's probably the most difficult part of what we got going on. I mean, Kevin Overton missed the game, but we expect him to be back very soon. And I mean, we'll just basically be back to a full complement. We'll have everybody ready to go. And who plays, when we play them, EY has been tremendous. And the approach is what gives us the best chance and everybody to be ready. And EY was ready. He started practicing, like I told you guys 3 weeks ago, and he had an unbelievable practice. He was playing 2-on-2. He was playing 3-on-3 on days when we weren't practicing as a team. We were watching film, but he would go out there and get extra work in, and he stayed ready. I do think what it does is it encourages everybody to stay ready because of those moments. It's kind of that reminder like, oh, it could be me, and even if you don't play. But I do think the heart of this team understands that there may be some limited playing time, even though people are capable of helping us in this game. But really, the best part about being a part of a team is just staying ready and doing whatever the team needs to win. And we have the right character, and EY is a great example of that.